Hey everyone, Travis Basso here, giving you a track breakdown for the one track challenge for the TildeSound community. So the idea being for this challenge was to create a track using only one audio track and existing samples you have, nothing else that you're creating, no MIDI, no other channels, and except with the exception of parallel processing and whatever kind of processing you want to use on the channel. So I started with a sample that I had, a pad sample I had made, and then this is already the chopped up version, but okay. And so I had done a bunch of different things, tried to do different things, but a lot of it was sort of out of my skill level at the moment. And so decided to rein it back in and focus on what I know, some ambient kind of stuff and some just more simple drums. So kick. And so all I did was, chop that up, lay it out here, and then I grabbed all of those and dropped it right on top of the pad sounds. So got rid of that. And consolidated and stretched it out, okay? And so from there, everything. Okay, so from there you go. So the first order of business was to separate the kick from the pads because I wanted to do all this processing on the pad sound, but I didn't want the kick to go through all the delays and reverbs and everything. So the first thing I did was, eventually figured out, okay, I'll use a steps modulator here and put tools in the front of each layer so I could dictate when the layers basically are activated or when sound's going through the layers. So the kick samples round up being around a 64th note long. So one thing or another, figure out how to get roughly 64th note here. So half of, divide 32 or something like that. So you get the resolution there, and then this is going to work on just when the kick comes on, and it's going to basically mute the pad sound and at the same time open the kick channel, if you will, and just for that note. And then thanks to Bitwig's precision, it works perfectly. So you can get this separation where the kick is never going through the pad stuff, and when the kick's not, triggering, you don't hear it at all. That channel, you don't hear it at all. So onto the pad sound. So built a whole thing out here in the grid, and essentially the sound's coming through and it's going through this four-way selector and using some step access and phase modules here to step through each one of four different outputs over a couple of bars. And from there, the first one's going through some chorus, the middle one or next one's going through some delay, some mod delay, then like a sort of stereo type reverb diffusion network here, nothing too fancy. And then the last one is a pitch shifter, sort of like it's using some up a 7, up 12 here, same kind of thing down. So just stacking some things there and creating like a chord type sound. And so this steps through as the sound plays. Okay. And then that's going through some big old Valhalla delay here. And then that's going through even more delay, a big delay from Air Windows here, Galactic, which is, yep. And then just some filtering to control the dry sound, if you will, even though the dry sound's very wet, but the dry version before it goes to a even more bigger reverb here. Then that's going out through some little filtering and some compression here. And then I've got a filter at the very end of the whole sound of everything to control it just in really broad ways, as well as like a little, like finishing whatever chain here, just a little take out a little, do a little mid-side bass mono and some compression and some, basically just some gain. Okay. And so then the kick, we get the kick in. That's just got just some basic stuff. EQ, compression here, a little filtering at the end. Then I was like, all right, well, let's get some more layers here. So actually there's a sort of bass drone layer, which essentially is just, and this one's actually, it looks like this one's active all the time, but I've got a filter to control it, and then it's going through an effects chain that's just, sorry, my bad. Here we go. With the tool here, actually, that makes more sense. And that's just how I kind of bring it in and out. And that's going through a granular reverb here, which is producing a bass sound. It's pitched down a whole lot. That's going through a filter, basically just some more filtering, but a whole bunch of distortion here, and then some EQ for shaping because it's supposed to be like a bass drone sound. Let's see if I can get it. And it's pretty grainy. It's pretty like dirty, really. But it works, and it does what it needs to do, and it fills out the bottom of below the pad. And then heard in isolation, maybe it's not that pretty, but it's got a lot of good texture going on there. And so it fills out the bottom. And then the really cool part, if you will, is the hat. The hat I got, and this was using ideas from the challenge I just did before, where you basically use one sample and you turn it into a lot of different things, and the general idea being that you can kind of drive a sample through reverb and then a ton of distortion to basically turn it into noise, and then you can shape noise to make just about anything. So this is just taking the sound, the raw sound as is, and taking it through, again, using the tool at the front to separate, or in this case, bring it in and out in the track. Then it's going through like a ton of reverb, all different ton of distortion transfers, all different types of transfer curves here, and then attenuating that, sending it through both a frequency shifter and then the noise itself through a really tight envelope that's getting triggered with some Euclidean stuff here. That's going through a bandpass. It's going through a phaser. I love putting phaser on hats. Just get some movement there, some stereo-ness as well. Then that's just going through, actually, I made my own little cheap version of the delay 2, so you got stereo delay here, and I think there's some modulation going on of the delay, though I'm not sure, maybe not. Okay, and then that's going through, coming out, and there are some things getting modulated here, and that makes the hat sound, and then that comes out and goes through some EQ and controlled the mid side a little just because I wanted to, and another filter to help mix it and bring it in. So yeah, it takes a second for the hat to get up to speed because of the way it's using delay and whatnot. And that's the whole thing. That's the track. So, I, did what I could with it. I like the idea. I want to do more of these too, and maybe do more collage stuff because I didn't do as much on the track as I know other people, as I know potentially you can and other people were doing. And so I'd like to explore that more. But I was also trying to, get somewhere and achieve something. So I had a lot of fun with it. Hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.